Hello, everyone. It's Matt again, along with Goose. Hopefully, you're having a good day. But more importantly, today, this video is going to be about the very basics and help people who've been giving me a lot of questions that I think the help can help with. But interestingly enough, it's hidden and not a lot of people know what it is. So, next is kind of just going through the very basics. All right, hey. So what we have here today is go through the basics, and in the menu here, there is actually this help that is actually pretty helpful. It's got a very long list, and it's broken up into 6 parts. So the first part here is home. Basically, it kind of just tells you everything. The only thing that's really important here is these tack point cards. So it shows you here, which I have another video down also in this that explains it better. But it also tells you how and what each one are. So you have these conditions for earning tack points. Bounties is every enemy you slay on your adventure. So you can't always earn it without levels, but it's better to save your 5,000 points a week with levels because a level will give you attack points as well. And a level here is gives you plus 1 or 3 points as well, so it does help out. New party members also earn attack points, etc., etc. But what's nice is also with alchemy you earn points, and upgrading abilities you earn points as well. So it's not all about just going through the very basics here. But so this is kind of important for the first part here for home. Everything else is really basic. It tells you what's going on in the game in case you're brand new. I won't go over it. Adventure here just tells you all the difference here. So it tells you story, the events, training quest, battle road, stages, battles, battle screen, and status ailments. So what's nice about the status ailment page, and I'd like to just go over this, is it gives you sleep and deep sleep. So if you sleep them again, they enter in what's called a deep sleep. It is much harder to wake up from a regular sleep. So it tells you that you can actually do these status ailments twice. Poison and Envenom. Poison is a slow damage, and if you do Envenom, it is much faster. It's almost 10%, and Poison's like 5%. So it definitely helps if you can poison an enemy twice. And Envenom does more damage, and um, Poison it lasts not as long as Envenom because it can wear off with the passage of time or if you have a Dispel. So casting poison multiple times is actually a good thing because you can go to the Envenom. Stun, you can only stun once. Obviously, stun stops everything. Paralysis is differently from stun, but you can stun is only wears off with the passage of turns. You can't dispel it, while paralysis you can dispel. Blind lowers accuracy. Once again, only with the passage of turns. Physical lock is a very unique ability. Unable to use physical, but you can do magic. And there's spell lock that does stops magic, but not physical. Martial lock stops martial abilities, and breath lock stops breath. And I'll kind of explain the differences of those in the next set. Blind Bind has the move stat reduced to 0, so you can't move. And also makes so anything that involves moving is stopped. But if you're bound and you can do a regular attack next to an enemy that's there, you can still do that. Confusion can't be commanded, they just go random. And there's going to be 3 more new ones as well, Hobble, Curse, and Charm, but they haven't been implemented that yet. So that's your Adventure tab. I'm going to skip Party tab for the last, but that's kind of the most important. Scout just tells you this SP, different Scout stamps. which we've talked about before. The swap shop gives you just what swap shops are. We've also gone over this before. The other here is the login bonus daily and deleting play data. This deleting play data is only useful for reroll. And if you want to go through that, you can look at my guide or go ahead and read this as well. But for party here, we have party members and their stats. So you have families here. There are 9 families in Dragon Quest Tactics: Slime, Dragon, Nature, Beast, Inorganic. That's not Beast, that should be Demon. So there's actually an error on the help. Undead, the question mark, which is basically boss or end foe, and hero family. So those 9 are there. Species tells you what exactly they are. Rank, there's 7 different ranks here, and each rank gives you the difference between what their max levels can be, where F is the lowest and S is the highest, where S can get up to rank or level 100. Combat power CP tells you the rough strength. Stats, you have your level. This is what your breath is based off of. EXP shows you how close you are to the next level. HP is your health. MP is your magic. Attack is your damage dealt by the fight command and physical abilities based on the stat. Defense is the damage taken from fight command and physical abilities is based on this stat. So attack and defense play with each other. Agility is a monster's place in turn order is based on agility. The higher a monster's agility, the earlier monsters will take its turn. Also, if you have a very high agility, you improve the accuracy of your attacks. And what that means is the higher agility you have, the more likely you are to hit the high evasion enemies like the metal slimes and the metal liquid slimes. Wisdom is the stat that spell abilities are based on. Higher monsters' wisdom, the more damage they'll do with attack spells, and the more HP they'll heal with healing magic. So wisdom is incredibly important for that. Move is how many you can move in a turn. Here are your rolls, which I'm not going to go through. You have your skills, basic skills and awakening skills as well. You have your perks, resistances, and equipment status, which we'll cover later. So leader perks just basically is just one activated leader. Trigger conditions and target depend on the perk, so you just check on it itself. Resistances, so when an element resist goes up, it lowers the amount of damage a unit takes given element by a percent amount. So if you have a 20% frizz up, you reduce the damage you take by 20%. And a status ailment, it just increases the resistances that go up. Now, if you're already immune to it, then there's no point. Resistance down is the exact opposite. So the amount of damage unit takes from a given element by a percent amount. So if you've got frizz down by 20%, aka hybrid, it gives you 20% more, or 25% actually for the hybrid's case, more power with frizz. And when erase, same thing for the resistance going down. So if you have a 50% chance of being afflicted with sleep, and they have sleep res up by 20, so it reduces it to 40%. Or so it is 20% of the difference between 50 and 0 here. So remember, this one here is not 50 minus 20 equals 30. It's, okay, I have a 50% chance of already sleeping in. We're going to increase it by 20% more. And now you go 50 times 0.2 equals 10. So we reduce it by 10 more percent. Very important to understand these differences. And so that's why I wanted to go through that here. Oop. But that's not what I wanted to. I think the abilities, yep. So here's the last one that I wanted to go over with today is the ability categories. Now there are 4 different types of attacks. Physical is the first one. Physical is based off of your attack stat, and physical is reduced by the opponent's defense. So they have everything else then follows what that does. If it's a frizz physical, it's based off of frizz damage with physical based off your attack stat, etc. So you want to make sure that you look at your unit and go, oh, my unit has a high attack skill. Then I want to make sure that I am using physical abilities, or I give a physical ability skill to this unit. Breath abilities deal based on the level of the party member using them. So this one doesn't look at your stats, it only looks at your level. So it is very important to know that units that have low stats but can get to a high level are very good at breath skills. Or better statement is, if your unit has poor attack and poor magic, then it is best used to use a breath ability because it's based off of a level. As the reason why some dragons have poor attack and poor wisdom is that their breath is based off that, so they have very high HP. And so they could take a lot of damage, and they can do a lot of damage as long as you level them up. Spells are based off your wisdom stat, and also a high wisdom gives you more healing. So if your monster has very high wisdom, then you want to give them either a healing spell or a magic spell, like frizz spell damage. It will say it in its ability. You want to make sure that that's where those go. And when you see me doing my videos, that's how I will usually select, okay, we're going to use these items. I look at their skills, or sorry, their stats, and determine which ones are best for them. Martial is abilities based on the level of the party member using them as well. So it's another form of breath. So I don't. There's not that many scrolls with martial damage, but this is another way for people to do.
I want more cinnamon toast.
Okay, we'll do that in a sec. We will do more damage with martial on that as well. Alright, so, and we have the ability elements here. Range and radius are shown here as well. And the other thing I wanted to show before the end here is that we have 3 other items here. There's buffs, they always last 3 turns. Instant buff, which is a perk, lasts 3 turns. Rare buff, which is a perk, lasts 4 turns. So, they won't tell you how long something lasts, but a buff will always last 3 turns. An instant buff, which is a perk or a leader ability, lasts 3 turns. And a rare buff, which is another leader, which is rarer, not as powerful, but it lasts 4 turns. So, that's kind of all I wanted to go through today. The help here is very powerful. So I kind of wanted to show you guys that, yeah, it is actually there, and unlike most games, it's hidden away. So I kind of just wanted to show everyone where it was. So travelers, I hope you guys are having a good day, and please have fun and have safe travels.